Puddles.
Now, I noticed the other
I
day,
noticed the other day,
I was walking
I was
outside
walking
and there were
outside
puddles,
and it was puddles.
and I was wearing,
And I was wearing
a pair of
a pair of
Crocs,
Crocs,
which normally,
normally,
if the water's
if the
only
water's
this deep,
only this deep,
Crocs are fairly
Crocs are
waterproof,
fairly
but I think
waterproof, but I
my
think
Crocs
my
have a
Crocs
hole in
have
the
a
bottom.
hole
If you
in
don't
the
know what
bottom. You
Crocs
don't know
are,
what Crocs
you'll have
are,
to search
you
that
have
up
to search that
online.
up
It's kind of
online
a
and kind of
plastic pair of
plastic
shoes
pair
that you
of
can
shoes
put on
that you
quickly.
put on quickly.
I wouldn't actually call
I
them
wouldn't
shoes,
actually
like
them
footwear.
shoes,
We'll
like
call them footwear.
We'll call them footwear.
And I stepped in a
And I
really
stepped in a
shallow
really
puddle,
shallow
so you can have a
puddle. You
deep
can have
puddle
a
or a
deep puddle
shallow
or a
puddle.
shallow puddle.
And my foot
And
got
my
wet.
foot got wet.
I was surprised. I wasn't expecting that to happen. But yes, definitely outside right now, there are a lot of puddles. Snails. So I don't really like snails. Snails are these little, let me go back here for a second. Puddles are just little indentations in the ground or lawn that fill with water when it rains. I should actually define the word that I'm teaching, shouldn't I? I know it's pretty easy in this lesson because there's always a picture, but I should for sure explain that. Snails. So snails crawl along the ground. Snails have a little shell on their back. And the same day I was walking and saw worms, there were also a lot of snails along the side of the road. I don't know why the worms and snails are close to the road. That seems dangerous to me. Probably poor parenting at some point in their lives. Sorry, that was a joke. But snails, they're also slimy on the bottom. They crawl very, very slowly. And there's just lots of them right now. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Twigs and branches.
Twigs and branches.
Trees are beautiful. But when it's windy, and when you have a long winter, and there's a lot of windstorms, and snow sometimes puts weight on the trees, twigs and branches sometimes fall off. The difference between a twig and a branch is simply size. They're all just parts of a tree. But when I was outside the other day, I noticed that there were some branches, some pretty big branches, laying on the ground, and there were some twigs. So I need to clean those up before I mow my lawn. So there are definitely twigs and branches outside. Rubber boots. As I mentioned, I went outside wearing my Crocs. I should have worn my rubber boots, but I know my rubber boots have a hole in them, several, and I need a new pair of rubber boots. So this is something, though, you will definitely see out in the wild right now. A lot of people will wear rubber boots. Jen has been wearing her rubber boots for 2 or 3 weeks as she begins working outside. So that's very, very cool. Wheelbarrows. So this is one of the coolest inventions ever. A wheelbarrow is a little hand cart, I guess, with one wheel on the front and 2 handles on the back. And you can fill it with all kinds of things, and then you lift the handles and you can move stuff around. You can drive the wheelbarrow. I think because there's a wheel, it actually acts as a lever, if you know how levers work. So it actually makes it easier to lift all of the stuff that's in there. But you will definitely see wheelbarrows at this time of year. Almost everywhere I walked the other day, I went through several neighborhoods. I probably saw 5 or 6 wheelbarrows. So people are cleaning up twigs and branches. People are just outside, maybe moving some soil to a new area. People are going to start planting stuff soon. So definitely there are a lot of wheelbarrows out there. Rakes. So another thing you can use in the fall is a rake to clean up leaves, but you don't always get it all done. So sometimes you need a rake in the spring because there's just lots of stuff, like leaves that have kind of rotted over the spring. A rake actually works really well to rake up twigs. Don't try to rake up branches. It doesn't work. That's a little bit too hard for a rake. But yes, a rake is a garden tool that you can use to kind of gather things into a pile on the ground. Very helpful for cleaning up your yard in the spring. Melting snow. So this might not be something that you see at this time of year, but we often see melting snow at this time of year. In fact, the other day, I went to the grocery store, and when I went to the grocery store, it was snowing in April. This was this past weekend. And when I came out, my vehicle had some snow on it, and there was a little bit of snow on the ground, but the sun came out, and it immediately started melting. So you can see here, I like this picture, shows it nicely. You have snow, but you have green grass. So this is definitely, in my mind, a picture from spring or fall, most likely spring, where the grass is starting to grow, but you still have a little bit of snow melting. We don't have any snow outside at all anymore, but like I said, it does snow occasionally, and then we do get a little bit of snow on the ground. Mud. So this person was very wise and wore their rubber boots. Mud is simply dirt that has a lot of water in it, and it often gets very sticky. And when you step in it, you can sink. So when you step in mud, your foot goes into the mud. You sink in the mud. This person is not sinking too far, but if you look at how high the mud is on their boot, I'm sure they probably sunk in the mud earlier before this picture was taken. But mud, very, very wet soil that you find when you are outside at this time of year. Tire tracks or ruts. I think I mentioned this once in another lesson. One of the things that really bothers me is that at this time of year, you will see where everyone has driven on the lawn. So when you drive on the lawn, you leave tire tracks, which you see here in the lawn, or what we call ruts. They're the same thing. He drove on the lawn and now there's tire tracks. Or he drove on the lawn and now there's ruts in the lawn. Very, very annoying. He drove on the lawn, now there's tire tracks on the lawn. Tire tracks in the lawn. You can say both, on or in. There's ruts on the lawn, there's ruts in the lawn. I'd probably use in. There's ruts in the lawn, but you could probably use both. So tire tracks or ruts, one of the things that makes Bob the Canadian very, very annoyed. And I'm not going to blame delivery drivers because I appreciate them the most. And I know it must be hard to figure out where the lawn is versus the driveway. But if any of you are watching, if you deliver to my house, please try to stay on the driveway. Please don't go in the lawn and make ruts. Fog. Almost every morning, there's fog right now. This is probably caused by the fact that it's cold overnight and the ground is warming up, or the inverse. It might be warm overnight and the ground is still cool related to the air temperature. Either way, not a weatherman. There is a lot of fog in the morning, but it dissipates very quickly once the sun comes up. So fog, definitely something I have been seeing a lot of as I get up and go out on these beautiful spring days. By the way, fog is moisture in the air. It looks a lot like that. It looks exactly like that, actually.
I'm sure.